so I wonder why. I feel pain when the rain fall from the sky. That's all my partner tears making heaven cry. Sent you a message when the pigeons fly. Goodbye, listen to the Reverend, reach about a legend 24/7. I'm missing you in my presence, you will never die. I wipe my eye while the quiet sing a lullaby. So some respect we apply in a suit and tie. This was a lie, I can't deny. Sin is believing, I had to accept you no longer breathing. I bury you decent when I carry you reminiscing. Relive every memory is a reason. Different partner joining Jesus every season. Leaving me grieving in morning. Call home either evening, night, evening, or morning. And be gone with no warning. We born to feel leaving. This world is a blessing, no less than a curse. The pain never lasts, and I'm strong, but it hurt. Won't be the last time I visit my homie in the church. Touch a casket. Remember you laughing, dark glasses when I witness your hearse. Witness your bundle of flowers around a hole in the dirt. Witness your picture on the shirt, and I'm asking to witness many more days on this earth. What could be worse? I'll be the first in this fashion. Tell you with passion. How bad did it hurt? How bad did it hurt? How bad did it hurt to just breathe, breathe, breathe for all of my partners, for all of my partners. No, I haven't forgot you. No, I haven't forgot you. Breathe, breathe, breathe for all of my partners.
All right, what's up, everybody? Ricochet, man, coming back at you. Hoping everybody having a blessed, wonderful, prosperous day. Welcome to my channel, man, and I thank everybody for watching and tuning in, man. Follow me, tracking my journey. I really appreciate everybody's support. Appreciate the comments and just the overall engagement I get, man, from here periodically, man, from people that watch my channel or whatever, man. So I really appreciate that, man. Today I start my three vlog my three vlog critique of my experience with Prime, man. And it's gonna be done in a sense that I'm just gonna really be talking through some of the things that how I started, where I'm at, what it looks like, how trucking has overall been a hit or miss, man, as far as my career choice. I'll just tell you this, man. In this series, I'm driving in my truck, pretty much just talking through my start to finish. I ain't gonna say finish, but from start to up until this point of where I'm at. So depending on what video you watching, man, what vlog you watching, you'll probably have to watch them in order, because I'll talk about the hiring process, I'll talk about the PSD process, I'll talk about the TNT process, I'll talk about the overall experience of how I'm being treated at Prime, I'll talk about fleet managers, I'll talk about trainers a little bit, I'll talk about money a little bit. I won't get into too much depth as far as money, but I also talk about some of the experiences that I'm having being a solo owner operator at Prime. I talk about my experience with upgrading, the upgrade process. I talk just through some of the things that as far as Prime Inc. is concerned, man. So y'all stay tuned, man, and I want y'all to continue to support me, man. This video is not in no way politically correct, right? Because my opinion may not be somebody else's opinion of how the Prime process from start to finish has affected them in their trucking journey. So as far as my opinion, this is what I see, and this is how I feel about my start up until this point, being with Prime Inc. And y'all stay tuned, man. I'm gonna talk through some good stuff, man. This is series 3, so stay tuned, man. Let me know, send me some comments if you like, if you don't like. Let me know what you agree with, what you don't agree with. What works for me might not work for you. So what works for you might not work for me, man. So, but yeah, man, y'all stay tuned, man. Let me know how you feel. Comment. Let me know some of your experiences. This video is not to compare your experience with my experience. Other than that, man, welcome to part 3. Y'all stay tuned. Over. I think the next thing I want to talk about as far as Prime, as far as the overall ability to grow. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I talk to a lot of people that I meet over the road. Prime seems to have a bad reputation as far as trucks going slow. I think that's a con. That would be one of the cons that I have with Prime. They have a bad reputation because our trucks are only governed at 65 miles per hour. That is a con to me, but it's not something that I am stressing over. Right? I don't mind the truck going 65. I can deal with it, but I think that it should be some type of level as far as driver advancement, that if you've been driving for Prime for X amount of years or X amount of months, you're a company driver, if you're a leased operator, if you're an owner operator, I think you should have the ability to be trusted with how fast you're going, how slow you're going, what turns you take, stopping at stop signs, engaging in the public in this 80,000 pound truck. I think you should have a higher level of trust. It's a con to have your truck at 65 miles per hour. That's one thing I will say is a con. I give that an F. I would say that's the biggest issue that I've seen with Prime, even though it don't affect me to the point where it makes me upset, or it makes me stressed, or it makes me like, I'm not going to Prime. I don't want to work for Prime because the trucks are too slow. It's not a big deal, but it's a big deal in the sense that we're not trusted to be able to make a decision on how fast we want to go when that ability may be needed. There's some of these highways are 85 miles per hour. Some of these highways are 75 miles per hour. Some of these highways are 55 miles per hour. There's a wide range of flexibility that fluctuates the speeds. Depending on where you're at, I'm sorry, man, that's my, let me turn this radio down. I'm about to yap it. But depending on where you're at, man, you have to be able to have the ability, and you should be able to have the ability to adapt to your environment. So we're on a highway that's going 85 miles per hour, and you're going 65 miles per hour or 62 miles per hour. You're creating a situation where you're not flowing with the traffic, and cars got to keep going around you, getting in front of you, cutting you off, or trucks behind you got to slow down real fast in order not to run up behind you because they rolling. You can't get over and pass a vehicle, or you're on the side of a vehicle that you would like to pass, but you can't because your truck don't have enough hump to get on past them. I think it creates a situation where it's more dangerous. There's been several times, man, that I needed to speed up in order to get around something, and I couldn't speed up because of my adaptive cruise control is preventing me from going 61, 62, 63 miles per hour because of the vehicle in front of me. And then I got to get over in the lane so the vehicle ain't in front of me. And now I got to try to gradually pick up speed to pass the vehicle that's over here, and then you look in the mirror and you got a half a mile long line of cars behind you that's waiting for you to get past this vehicle that's going 59 miles per hour and an 85-mile speed limit. So that's a F to me, man. That's a con. That's the biggest con that I would say when it comes to trucks at Prime and the equipment. I think that they need to reevaluate that piece of it. The people that's probably making that decision probably haven't drove a truck since the speed limit was normally 65. You know, speed limits now 85. You know, in some places, man, and it's just not good, man, when you can't make a decision on keeping up, going around, or moving over, or something like that at a lower rate of speed than the average flow of traffic. So I think that's a huge issue, and I see why there's so much complaint and gripe about that. Not only from Prime truckers, but from truckers that don't work for Prime, because it puts a stress on them for having to maneuver around us in dire situations. You know, sometimes it be a lot of cars and they can't get around us. So guess what? Now they got to sit there and hover behind us at 65 miles per hour when the speed limit 85, because it's enough that they can't get over to get around us. It's just bad business, man, for me when I think about that piece of it. But that is a con. So if you're looking to drive a truck and you'll have an issue with the truck going 65 miles per hour, as fast as it will go, don't come to Prime. Because our trucks don't go faster than 65 miles per hour. But it's all right. But in some certain situations, man, I wish it was different. I wish it wasn't that way. Hell, if my truck goes 65 miles per hour and I had the ability to go 70, 75, I probably still would hover around 65, 68 miles per hour. But just to have the ability to be able to get up and go when I want to, and be trusted, you know, I think that that's something that Prime needs to reevaluate. You know, if you're a trainee coming out of training, yeah, govern his ass 65, right? If you're somebody that been with Prime, been driving for a year, got a clean record, ain't had no accidents, no speeding tickets or anything like that, you should fall into a bucket to where they can trust you. You know, you've been with Prime for a year, we're gonna set you to 70. You've been Prime for 10 years, we're gonna set you to 75. You know, something like that, man. Some kind of point system or something to where they allow these trucks to go a little bit faster than what they're actually going, man. You know, you gotta have trust in your team, man. And I do get it. There's some knuckleheads out there, and there's some people who are try to abuse that. But you need to deal with that on a deal with who basis. You know, deal with that with whoever you need to deal with that with. You can track how fast trucks go anyway. You know, so let that be something to be a point system. If you go faster than what you're supposed to go, or you have an incident, have a no tolerance around that. You know, termination automatically, or end the contract. But that's just food for thought. I get at an F, man, all the way around. Now that I'm out here over the road, I see why people complain about Prime trucks. Another thing that I would say I would want to talk about when it comes to my experience with Prime, I think Prime needs to offer a little bit more wiggle room to parking spaces, and a little bit more perks at some of these truck stops. You know, we have a really good discount on fuel and stuff like that that gives us points and unlimited showers at some of them. But what happens is, man, most of the points that I accumulate come at Love's. They go to Love's. Love's is probably one of the main truck stops that Prime has us fuel up at. Well, most of the time, that's what they suggesting where I fuel up at. I know that we do petrol. I fueled up at petrol. I know that we do TA, Flying J's. I know we do other networks and other truck stops. But I think that there should be another perk when it comes to unlimited showers at other facilities. I have unlimited showers at Love's, but I don't have unlimited showers at Flying J. And at times, man, you'll go to a Love's and it's already packed. You know, there may be several Prime trucks there taking advantage of the free showers, and then there's also other truckers and you don't find parking. So now you got to go to a place that you don't frequent so much, like a TA or a Petro, and you have to pay for showers. So I think that's something that I wish they would work on. I get at like a C, because I am grateful and thankful for what they have done, but I wish they would do a little bit more to help us out over the road. We living out here over the road. So the other thing that I would give Prime a B, or no, I'll give them a C at. I think that Prime, what they need to do, especially, they need to get into the habit of having proposals 100 miles away from your next delivery. Where you delivering at, and you know that I'm finna deliver there, once I hit that 100 miles away, which is an hour and a half away, start sending my proposals to my next load. You know, start sending my proposal for my next load once I get close to where I'm finna deliver to. So I can make decisions on if I want to get that done, if I want to get that load, so I can already start pre-planning an hour ahead. I don't like to have to sit once I deliver, and then I'm sitting for an hour waiting to see where I'm gonna go next. Because a lot of times, once your load gets delivered, then people want you off their property. They want you out that door so you can put somebody else in that door. And so what happens is you gotta go find parking, and you could be potentially going north, and your next load is going west. And now you done drove 45 minutes, 30 minutes to find parking going north, and now you got a load that you gotta turn around and go back west another hour and a half out the way in order to get on track to head towards your next load. So I wish that they would do something to where they would be able to give us a proposal as soon as they know that we are going to deliver our loads versus after the fact. They need to change that piece of it. You know, and I think that's something that I wish they would do in order to help us so we can become more efficient at managing and running our business. So those are just some of the things, man, in my review of Prime Inc. I'll just tell you, when it comes to me suggesting or either recruiting or telling someone to come to Prime, I'm that person that says, use my driver code. My experience with Prime, it's been a great experience. Overall, I give Prime an A. I've not had any damaging evidence that Prime is a bad company. I think it's good company. I can't, excuse me, I can't compare it to no other company because I haven't worked in no other company. But my experience with Prime right now, I give it an A. Right? You know, you have a lot of YouTubers that work at Prime. You have a lot of people that previously worked at Prime who don't suggest Prime or don't come to Prime or say I'm not recruiting for Prime and I'm not telling nobody to come to Prime, but I'm at Prime. It's just kind of strange that people won't put their name out there for people to come to Prime, but they at Prime. So for me, I think if you are a Prime person and you enjoy working for Prime, be honest with people. You know, tell them, yeah, come to Prime. In my experience with Prime, no, don't come to Prime. Don't say you're not gonna recruit or say you don't want to suggest or tell people to come to Prime as if that's a bad thing and you working at Prime. Like, if you still here and you working at Prime, then evidently you enjoy working for Prime. If you enjoy working for Prime, then promote Prime to be able to help someone make their decision on coming to Prime. But everybody don't see things the way I see it, you know? And you don't have to promote Prime. You don't have to tell people to come to Prime. It's just my opinion. If I'm working somewhere and I enjoy working there and other people have questions about working there, I'm gonna give you the good, the bad, the ugly. But at the same time, if I think it'll work for you, I'm gonna suggest you to give it a shot there. I would rather see you come here and find out and figure out that it works for you or it don't work for you versus you making the wrong decision and going somewhere and having an even worse experience. You know, so I don't know. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion, man. You know, but overall, man, I give primeinc an A. So far, so good, man. I enjoy working here. I enjoy representing Prime as a Prime driver. I enjoy all the perks that come with representing Prime as a Prime driver. I enjoy that. So, with that being said, man, make your decision, man. If you want to come to being a truck driver, make a decision. Use my driver code. Come to Prime. Come see if Prime is the right fit for you. If it's not the right fit for you, you can always go somewhere else, man. You can always take your chances somewhere else. Is Prime a perfect company? I would tell you, no, it's not a perfect company. And I tell you that it's not a perfect company because the leadership tells you it's not a perfect company. If you watch any of the Friday meetings, the safety meetings, one of the things that they do in the safety meetings, the first thing comes out of one of the leadership's mouth is that we acknowledge that we are not perfect. We acknowledge that we need to do things better in some cases. We acknowledge by far that we're not a perfect company. That right there says enough for me to have respect for Prime and Prime's leadership, because they publicly admitting and acknowledging that they have faults that they want to improve on. A lot of other companies, man, don't do that. Other companies think that shit don't stink. You know, think that everything they do, everybody's in agreement with. You know, Prime acknowledges that it does not do everything perfectly. And for me to hear that from leadership, that makes me even more that makes me even more respectful of their business and how and what they're doing to make this business successful. But that said, man, that's my review of Prime. I give it an A+. Till next time, Ace Deuces. Yeah, man, and when I think about it and why I give Prime an A+, I think about the overall ability to be able to start a business with Prime. What I've done since I've been at Prime, I've surrounded myself with people that are business minded. I got friends that lease. I got friends that are company drivers here at Prime. But I've also met a few mini fleet owners that I look to gain knowledge from. You know, there's a few of them, man, that I like to watch on YouTube, and there's a few of them that I personally met that inspire me as a new trucker. You know, one of the things that Prime allows you to do, man, it allows you to continue to keep growing your mini fleet. You know, I met a guy, he had 5 trucks, man. He's younger than me. Young guy. You know, he's younger than me, and he had 5 trucks. I met him, and it was funny, man. We was at the terminal, and he had all 4 of his drivers was there, and he was there, and they were hanging out at the terminal. You know, and when I met him, man, I was explaining them to him, and first thing he asked me, man, what's your business plan? You own your truck. What kind of plan you got? What you want to do? What you looking to gain out of being a truck driver? You know, and I told him I ain't out here for fun, man. And it was a good conversation because, you know, I started my business right out the gate in a situation where Prime gave me the ability to become a business owner and learn as I go. You know, this industry is it takes people a long time to own one truck. And luckily enough, I was fortunate enough, man, to be able to own my truck right out the gate. And sometimes it takes time for people to be able to own a truck, man. You know, I can't say that's a bad thing if people have to work towards that goal, you know. But in my situation, I was allowed to hit the ground running, and I'm gaining the experience to know what to expect if I decide to add another truck on, in which I plan on doing eventually. You know, this first year driving solo with Prime, man, it's been a really good experience. You know, I give Prime overall an A+ when it comes to that. There's a few more things that I think is cons at Prime. You know, I would like Prime to update the Prime app, right? Whenever we get a load proposed to us, let us see what the actual totals are on that load without having to request them. That should be some transparency that we should know. So we should know if we're making the right decision on taking a load. We should know if we're getting paid the actual 72% of each load. You know, some people may feel that, you know, that's not an issue, and you can request that, is what I hear. But then I also hear if you request it, it's like, you know, it's like you you get into a situation where, you know, your relationship could become damaged for requesting that, you know. But for me, you know, I think that that's just something that if I was the head of making sure that my drivers were trustworthy and comfortable with believing that we are getting paid, or they are getting paid what they actually promote, 72% of each load for lease operators and lease and owner operators, that transparency should be there, man, you know. And I can't say Prime is not giving us 72% of each load, and they taking 28%, but then I can't say they are, you know. Who's to say? That's one complaint that I've heard from other drivers, that they would like to know and have a definitive answer on every load. You know, so I give that like a C. I think that transparency is very, very important. You know, super, super important. I wish also, man, that Prime came back with a load board. Had a load board to teach us how to utilize a load board within the Prime network. I think that would be something very, very beneficial for the driver, especially if a load that's being sent to you, you could actually see it and make a decision off of it, versus it being, you know, just emailed or mail sent to you in the messages. And, you know, even if Prime just went and upgraded the Prime app's technology to where they can include detailed information around those type of things, you know, Prime's too big of a business to not have more details around the loads that it provides you, you know. And I can see it, man. It's probably, you know, they might feel, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type situation. But times have changed, is what I hear, man. A lot of drivers talk about that kind of stuff. You know, when I was in TNT, that was some of the stuff that was discussed while we was rolling, man. Like, you know, my TNT trainer used to discuss all of the ins and outs and tell me things that he had concerns with, but not the concerns to the point to where it would be like, oh, I ain't working for Prime, or I don't trust Prime. But I think that's something that they need to fix, man. I think that's a C. Another con that I think Prime needs to correct, man, I think it's very, very important they need to correct. You know, we pull in Prime freight and we do get a fuel surcharge. Love it. Thank you for that. That's very good. That's cool. All in all, it's really good. But then, you know, say for instance, if I have a drop and hook, right, and I go pick up a trailer, and that trailer has half a tank of fuel, in order for me to make sure that I don't run out of fuel, I gotta go fuel it up. So when I'm asleep, I'm full, right? I don't run out of fuel. You know, it's on continuous. It runs all night long. The next day I get up, it's at a half a tank again, and I just filled up. So now I gotta go and I gotta spend, let's just say $60 to put it back in fuel, to put it back to full, and that comes out of my pocket. And I still got 2 more days before that load is to get to its destination. So I drive 550 miles. I park. I fueled up that morning, and when I park, I'm at a place that ain't recommended for fuel, right? Like the fuel is not en route for me to fuel up at. It's just the best convenient parking. But I gotta go back and I gotta turn around and I gotta put more reefer fuel in the trailer. Now go another $60, $70 because now I'm under half a tank. I go to sleep, wake up, it's back at half a tank. It's running continuous. It's hot outside. The reefer is really working itself in order to stay engaged. By the time I get to my 90, I done spent damn near $300, $200 on fuel for the reefer, and that all comes out of my pocket. That's the fuel surcharge that I'm paying, that I'm still having to foot the bill for. So if I got $300 in fuel surcharge, and that was for the truck, well, I turned around and spent that $300 that I could have saved putting fuel in the reefer tank, because I have a long load to go and it's on continuous. I think that's an F, man. I think Prime should be responsible for keeping all of the reefer trailers filled, whether you're a company driver, a lease driver, or owner operator. We pull these trailers down the road and it's advertising Prime Inc. And yeah, we agree to it, but I think that there needs to be something to where they go back and reevaluate that, because ultimately that affects the driver. If you just did that, drivers would capitalize more on their settlements each week. And some days it might not be $300, some days it might be $50, but that's still $50 that can stay in your associates and your associates and your contractors' pocket, that will continue to make Prime even a better and great company. That would be something that would really help the driver. That would really help the driver. So ultimately, man, I think that's a con for Prime. Yeah, I get it. Fuel cost is a major concern for everybody. Fuel cost is the highest expense, I believe, for Prime as well. And it's going to be the highest expense for the driver. But Prime is a billion dollar company. Most of these drivers out here, and a lot of us drivers, you know, we grinding, you know. So every dollar count for us, and just that little perk right there would be very beneficial for the drivers. Very beneficial for the drivers. Another thing, man, that I would say overall, why I give Prime an A, and I recommend Prime, just the ability to have a very diverse environment and atmosphere at the terminals. There's so many nationalities that work at Prime. I think Prime is very cool about making sure that it hires all people from all walks of life. You know, I think that sets Prime apart from a lot of companies, and not just trucking companies, man, any company. You know, I see a lot of different nationalities at Prime, and you you get to know people and learn different things and cultures and different things like that. I hope Prime sticks to that. That gives them the ability to be able to be sustainable as a company. You know, I don't think I felt any ill will towards anybody at Prime since I've started at Prime. I've had no issues, no concerns. Everybody that I've met and engaged with, from a driver, from a staff, from anybody, man, from a guy that works behind the counter in the kitchen, from somebody that works in the store, from the barber, just engaging in people in the weight rooms at the terminal or whatever. It's always been on a respectable level, and I give Prime an A for that, man. I think that that's something that, you know, the culture may have been better at some point, but I'll tell you, in this day and age, the culture at Prime is not horrible compared to some places, you know. So I give Prime an A. I give them an A overall for that. I think a con that I would say, another con that I would say, that I would give Prime, I think that Prime needs to be a little bit more forthcoming with I'm trying to figure out how to say it, but it needs to be a little bit more forthcoming with I think they need to be a little bit more forthcoming, man, with paying us for loaded miles and paying us for deadheading. You know, when you think about your pre-plan, right? My pre-plan to tell me it's 500 miles to the 90, and it's 200 miles deadhead to the 01. So I key that into the GPS. It's actually 600 miles to the 90 and 300 miles to the 01. Are we getting paid for that deadhead? So I think it needs to be more accurate on that, you know. I'll calculate, do my calculations to see how much I'm making cents per mile, and I'm going off of what the pre-plan tells me. But when I keyed into my GPS and I keyed into 3 different ones, the mile accuracy is way off compared to what's on the pre-plan. You know, you look up, and in a week's time, you done drove an extra 500 miles to pick up a load from each different loads you're driving, picking up. But are we getting paid for those deadhead miles? So I think that they should break that part of the settlements down. You're getting paid X amount for loaded, X amount for deadhead. And I might be wrong. And we might be getting paid for deadhead miles. My point is that if we are, be transparent enough to let us know how, or something like that. I think that that's a C to me. I give it a C because I'm unsure about it. That should be something I should know right off the top if I'm getting paid for or not. And it should come up on each settlement, and it should come up on each pre-plan. You know, it might require them to do a little bit more footwork, but at the same time, you know, a lot of us are putting wear and tear on trucks we bought, and we're different. If I was leasing, I might not feel that way. If I was a company driver, I might not feel that way. But overall, for me coming to Prime to start a business, the few complaints that I got, you've already heard them over the last 3 vlogs that I did. And they're not major concerns enough for me to bash Prime or to not want to be a Prime driver, you know. I love it, to be honest with you. Coming from doing what I was doing, managing 300-400 people, 300 people, to being a business owner and set myself up for the future, to where I really don't have to work for nobody ever again. I give Prime an A for opening that door up for me. Period. You know, that's just a given, man. And again, if you decide to come to Prime, man, use my driver code JNSRDO. What works for me might not work for you. You know, you got to be a go-getter whenever you starting something new. You got to be a go-getter. So you gotta set the expectations at a level that you feel comfortable setting expectations at. You know, everything that I say in this video and these vlogs that I talk about with critiquing a Prime, not everybody gonna agree with. Not everybody gonna say that what I say is equivalent to their experience. What I will say is your experience is just that, your experience. So if your experience was bad at Prime, you know, I don't know what to tell you. My experience so far has been good, and I hope it continues to stay that way. It don't make sense for me not to give Prime its props. So, but yeah, man. I just think that Prime is a good company, man, and I think that it offers a lot of benefits and different things of allowing a person to grow, you know. And when I say grow, you know, I mean you gotta have a sense of some type of plan whenever you come into trucking. You know, that was one of the first things I learned when I was doing my research. Have a plan. If I can build a business inside a bigger business and still be successful building a business inside of Prime's network while I'm building my business and having a safety net and all the perks that come with it, to me it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. You know, some people might not feel that way. That's your opinion. But I'm about my money, so if it makes sense, you know, it's going to eventually lead to making dollars. So that's how I look at it. You know, primeinc, A+, man. And I'm just going to tell you, for all of you drivers that work for these companies that you disgruntled at, come on over here to Prime and see if Prime might work for you. Don't listen to all of the people that been to Prime and had a bad experience and dragged Prime through the mud. That's their experience, man. If somebody had a bad experience at Prime and they didn't agree with it, the very first thing they're gonna do, they're gonna talk down and talk about how bad Prime was, but they spent 10 years of their life here. Come on, man, you gotta see through all of that. You gotta see through all of that, right? If somebody been at Prime for 10 years, and then all of a sudden something bad happened and they decided to pack up and leave, and now Prime is so horrible after they packed up and left after 10 years, you gotta see through that bullshit. Simple and plain. If it was that bad, why was you here 10 years? If it was that bad, why was you here for such a long time? You know, so You know, I like to watch videos, man, where people give you the real, man. Especially those that work at Prime, that they tell you the good stuff, man. They give you a good idea of what you'll be dealing with. And there's so many Prime drivers that have YouTube videos that I look at, man, and all of them have different opinions around different things, man, and it all helps me. I absorb it all. Whether they're telling me something about what to do or not to do, they're showing me what they do in order to be successful. They're telling you the ins and outs on how they succeeded and then may have failed or slid back. And you know, I like watching those things. I like watching those videos because ultimately, if I see somebody step in a pothole and I come up to that same pothole, I have two choices. I can step in that same pothole or I could go around it, you know. And by looking at videos, especially of Prime drivers, that's actually living the Prime life like I am, I like to take advantage of their knowledge of what they give you in order to be successful. So, and until next time, man, ace deuces.